What's good? Welcome in. Been a minute. Hope everybody's fine. Tonight we're touching on the fact that the left is destroying America, right? The West as a whole, really, but the part that concerns me the most, of course, right here in the USA, where their projection is dismantling systems at hyper speed at this point, and where everything that they accuse the right of, they're actually guilty of or in the process of implementing, right? Mainly what they accuse Trumpsicles of course, right? The devil, it's Hatlers, orange Hatlers, right? From political and economic destruction, social cohesion, just pushing segregation, trying to keep racisms alive, all in the name of diversity, equities, and inclusions, right? To really pushing to start World War III, the prosecution of political opponents, dictatorial edicts, truly not wanting to disappoint their mindless, radical base, where every day is an existential threat to be used and abused to extort power while diminishing yours, and anything that they can't make a threat, they corrupt with weak-minded, deviant, fucking nonsensical ideas. Right? But you guys know the deal. Check it out.
A second Donald Trump term look like?
Well, he cannot be the next president. Because if he is...
You can't imagine the things that he's going to do. Mexico, Canada. We can't go to Canada because eventually Canada will become annexed to America.
And shoot visitors to the White House. Yeah. That means he can shoot the First Lady.
We're going to see violence, the likes of which we didn't even see on January 6th.
Make it illegal to run against him, to throw his opponents in jail, to shut down the media.
He will make himself into the Fuhrer, and he will make everybody raise their hand and salute him.
Using martial law against the American people.
Terminate the Constitution.
Rewrite the Constitution.
Create mass internment camps.
Throw everyone into Gitmo.
Might be sent to jail, or their rights might be suppressed, especially minority groups in society.
You might have any number of things happen to you and your family.
Every one of us, our freedom, our liberty, none of us is safe.
He's going to have people around him executing against an enemy's list.
Assassinate generals.
Ordering troops to attack American citizens. Trump's very well-armed and extremist base will try to kill people.
Pretty good there. You got to see some of that Grabian supercut in the beginning of the left melting down over the orange Hatlers, right? Like I said, projection, everything that they push, they've already done, or are in the process of doing. It's a definite fucking be afraids. And if you don't vote for me, it's the end of the world, though. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's all projection. We'll start off with the most obvious in this country right now, immigration, right? You had old Joe Biden's come into office, and whether it was, peppermint patties or old cringe, being the voice of the admin, telling you that Biden's came in to inherit a broken, inhumane fucking immigration system, right? Laughable at best, okay? The facilities that these people are using to process are the exact same ones Trump used, right? That was the old inhumane, he's separating families, and it's cages. It's those same cages, right? But just like when it was Obama's cages, now it's Biden's cages. So it's not cages anymore. It's a great little shelters, right? But anyway, these people, have gone on to let in damn near 10 million people into the country. The Biden regime quietly admitting to open borders that they used their controlled media to tell you was all a right-wing conspiracies, right? And, push the fact that, they had to work for something better. They had to fix the immigration. And by doing so, they meant, speed passes, Obama phones, $5,000 fucking gift cards once they cross the border in certain places. And this isn't this isn't, someone making an opinion or, I saw someone that said, no, this is coming straight out of the mouth of a sheriff that's, dealing with, the issues at hand. You know, and then on top of this guy, you know, admitting quietly that, you know, he has an open border, he also quietly admitting 5,000 illegals a day, right? But it's Trump's fault. You know, Trump had some of the lowest immigration numbers, at least in decades, right? Since the immigration scope, you know, flip where they went from mainly European to, I guess, whoever the fuck walks in. You know what I'm saying? Definitely some of the lowest numbers, most secure border, at least in my lifetime. And, you know, this guy took a very short while to just absolutely decimate it. And again, let in, you know, estimates of upwards of 10 million people that get let in to be held in, you know, shelters and tent cities. You know, even though they're given, you know, gift cards and stuff like that, it's still at the taxpayer's dime. Already, you know, estimates that this admin has cost the American taxpayer around $4.5 billion just in this situation alone. You know what I mean? That's not including all the other record-breaking spending that they're trying to convince you is cut in the deficit. You know, and so anyway, these people are left in limbo, you know, and while you have, you know, Democrat governors and mayors trying to sidestep actual laws and just give these people, you know, amnesty and sanctuary and, you know, free health care, free education, so on and so forth, they're still in a bit of a limbo, as, you know, they're obviously not legal, but, you know, they're in a gray area at the moment. Right? And so how is this humane to anybody, right? You're on the hook for the costs, and these people just get to hang out at shelters. Like, what in the fuck? Right? And at that exact same time, they're kicking out veterans and shit out of these shelters and whatnot to house these people. So again, in what way is this humane? Like, to who? You know what I mean? This is, as usual, nonsensical leftism at best, right? Or the other theory, of course, controlled demolition, Cloward Piven strategy, right? And then, of course, you know, the next one would be the breaking of laws with, you know, surveillance and censorship, working with, you know, the Intel alphabet soups and big tech to get you removed and censored, to push narratives, right? And that goes hand in hand with, you know, their control of the media. They'll lie to you directly or through omission about the most minuscule things, right? And that's, you know, and again, yes, this is because of the left. With Obama's Smith Modernization Act, please go ahead and look that up for yourselves. That made it legal for the first time for American media to be used as a propaganda arm by the government on American people, right? And that's hence the reason you get things like, you know, inflation dropped or cooled in November, right? When, you know, anyone out here spending their check to live at this point is definitely not seeing a drop in anything. You know what I'm saying? The inflation isn't going anywhere, right? But, you know, on the flip side of that, it actually rose 0.1%, right? It's Orwellian for real. They're using 1984 as an instruction manual. They've just upped your chocolate fucking, you know, ration from, you know, 3.2 grams to 1.9. It's double plus good. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's pretty obvious that, you know, again, with the projection thing, because you keep hearing the left point at, you know, Republicans and say that they're just about obstruction. They refuse to work bipartisanly, yada, yada. And in the meantime, you know, a Democrat-controlled Senate has only voted on 30 of the 150 plus bills passed by a Republican-controlled lower chamber. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you get situations like this where, you know, the Republicans are finally, you know, in small increments, I'll give you, but, you know, show instances of having a scrotum. and are standing firm on the Ukraine funding, where they're saying, look, we'll give in and we'll give you your billions in tax dollars to fund oligarchs and other people's fucking retirements, right? But you just have to do something about the border, okay? So Biden, he's just a great fucking statesman. Anyway, his retort apparently was, the possibility of reinstating a Title 42 type of situation, right? To turn away large numbers in certain geographic originations away at the border. And the left goes into meltdown. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, they won't work with us to pass bipartisan bills. But yet when the admin tries to work with the right to get things done, that's you gotta melt down. That can't be that's fucking shameful. I mean, these people are just, petulant children. You know what I mean? It's people that have never been told they suck to their face. You know what I mean? Unless it was some random person screaming at them as they run by with their security, which is, that's out of sight, out of mind, basically. And then to, the destruction of law enforcement, right? I mean, we know that, the FBI was in on the whole situation against Trump, the Russian collusion, yada, yada. The January 6th shit, where they refused to say whether they had agents in the crowd. But yet, since Mike Johnson's released footage, you can see, dudes clearly showing badges and acting in law enforcement ways with each other, right? And you got the left, well, they were outnumbered. What were they supposed to do? Not open doors, magnetically locked fucking doors, and let them stroll on in, right? And this same Capitol Police Force that was involved in obvious fucking corruption and incitement. Okay, fucking that now they're hiring a DEI fucking strategist, right? What does protecting the fucking Capitol have to do with racial and sexual inclusion and whatnot? Absolutely nothing, right? And they don't stop there. Again, what they accuse Trump of, like you heard in the Grabian clip, like he's going to execute generals, like he actually dealt with the likes of Miley, right? And left that dude in. That's actually nothing like what would possibly happen. You know what I'm saying? If anything, Trump was too soft during his term. He didn't wield power enough. You know what I mean? But they're going to fearmonger you into believing it, while it was actually Obama that was, destroying the military, right? And then now Biden too. It's, you didn't take the COVID shots, you gots to go. You don't believe in white rage and fucking fragility, you gots to go. You know what I mean? And now they can't meet recruitment numbers, right? So then you got Democrats trying to come out and take advantage again of these people that are coming here illegally and sitting in limbo, putting forth, the great fucking nonsensical idea of, well, let's let these illegals join the militaries and then they can get citizenship, right? Way to go, right? As you destroy law enforcement with DEI and whatnot, right? People that are taught to fucking hate whites and themselves. Then you want to infiltrate the military with people that have no allegiance to the country or its people. You know what I mean? Again, like in Obama's situation where he turned the power of propaganda with our media on us, they're moving it forward where they can turn law enforcement even more so, right? And the military against you. For real. And of course, the left, this guy's crazy. I mean, dude, you can look all this stuff up for yourself, and it's not like it's hard to find. And, I've posted shit several times. Unfortunately, for most people, you don't get a chance to fucking read or see shit because, of course, censorship, right? I mean, why don't you go ahead and go on, an alternate fucking browser and look up the UN Charter on replacement immigration. Okay, and when they say, replacements, the fucking conspiracy theories from the right wing's Nazis, and you can plainly see. Okay, I'll put a couple pages here for you, but I can't put too much because, of course, this is not just going on like a Rumble or a BitChute. This is going to be on YouTube and Twitter zones and TikToks, and you know what I'm saying? So, it'll be taken down if I go any further, right? But the shit is real, and that's not the only example, of course. There's the 2018 New York Times that I'm not the only person that has put up for you, but this is at least the 10th time I've used the damn image. We can replace them, and they are literally talking about replacement voters. You know what I'm saying? This is not a conspiracy, and it was a theory, but they've been putting it into practice for, quite some time now, right? And while they tell you with all this, they're not trying to attract, people from other countries or whatnot, like the don't come, right? They put out shit like I've already mentioned, the gift cards and whatnot, but then you got guaranteed fucking incomes. All you got to do is say you're, a fucking deviant or an illegal, and they're going to give you cash. Again, funded by you. Of course, anyone with half a cognitive process knows that the government does not produce any money or products. They steal yours and give it to who they want. You know what I'm saying? So, that's your cash being given directly away. On to, retail, for instance. And again, this isn't just the federal government or what have you. This is state governments as well. You got asinine, candy lands like California, where you got Gavin Newsom, where, mentioned earlier, the dude's giving away or trying to give away free education, free healthcare, yada, yada, to illegals. But yet then he also wants to punish the remaining retailers that haven't jumped in on the exodus the fuck out of there, and punish them if they don't carry gender-neutral toys. What the fuck is a gender-neutral toy? You mean like a ball? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And, and going on to find a functioning business in your state that deals with your exorbitant fucking taxes and overburdensome regulations because they don't have gender-neutral toys. Let that shit fucking sink in. You know what I mean? And that goes hand in hand with destroying education. You know what I'm saying? It starts there, right? That's why they fight tooth and nail and scream about banned books if you don't want your elementary school child looking at flat-out homosexual pornography. You know what I mean? And if you're a sick, demented fuck and you want your small child to see that, it's not banned. It's removed from school libraries and shit. Go fucking online and buy it for yourself. You know what I mean? Just like, the Riri's clapping like seals, like Pink's out here giving away banned books, right? They're so banned that she was able to purchase them and pass them out. Fuck, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, the people that support these people or even look favorably on them, I'm sorry, but you are a complete fucking stooge. Moron, man. You're not even useful at this point. You're just an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And you're very easily programmed and taken in. Real shit. And, of course, it doesn't stop there. They're destroying the election process. And not just with, every fucking election the left has lost in the past 40 years, right? But, of course, now, we see repercussions of the 2020 still unfolding. I mean, you got the Fulton County shit where film has been dropped of, I'm not going to say the full name, but Ruby such and such, right? Running, late night stacks of ballots that were pulled out from underneath the covered desk multiple times, right? Which obviously explains the massive uptick in overnight fucking Biden's votes, right? But, again, this is not just federal things, state things, right? Just this year alone, several Democrat elections have been overturned in court because of fraud, man. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, this couldn't happen. Fraud's not real. But yet people are fucking going to jail, being fined, being removed from elected positions. And again, this isn't just isolated. I could go on with this for fucking hours, but I'm trying to give short examples of things I'm talking about, man. Like, this is just most recent ones. Even here in Arizona, several people are wrapped up in court processes and have already been processed and fined and shit. You know what I mean? For fucking around in elections. Whether that be counters, whether that be actual people dropping off, ballots with fucked up signatures, yada, yada, man. And, and of course, again, your left buddies love to, well, the right's lost all those cases in court. No, they have not. No, they have not, man. There's actually been some that they've won, right? But then there's all, and no, it didn't overturn elections or nothing, okay? Those particular ones, right? But the vast majority of the ones that were, went to court and then were swiftly removed, it was on merit. Like, they didn't even sit and listen to the shit. It was just like, no, we're not going to listen to this. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous shit. The perversion of the legal system in this country. And the most glaring example, of course, is the prosecution of one Donald J. Trumpsicles, man. And the pun, of course, trumped up charges. I mean, they literally took basically one day and turned it into hundreds of charges in different states across the country. Fucking ridiculous. And luckily, we still have some judges that have been on the bench for periods of time that still have some morals and scruples that, have shut these things down repeatedly, such as them trying to use the 14th Amendment to remove Trump. That's been turned away now 4 times. You know what I mean? So leftists, as they tell you, the walls are closing in. It's really not. You know what I mean? And you also have, the Intel Committee looking into Fannie Willis with collusion with the J6 committee. The J6 committee saying that they lost or destroyed evidence. You have Jack Smith that has put forth a motion with the DOJ to hide January 6 documents from the public, right? Or discovery from Trump's fucking legal team to defend himself. You know what I'm saying? You have the guy recently in obvious desperation as Trump tries to appeal this situation. This guy has sidestepped the appellate courts and tried to invoke the Supreme Court. Again, sidestepping Trump's rights. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, this is bold. That's not bold. That's fucking out and out desperation. You are abusing the legal system, man. You know what I mean? And the fact that they keep putting gag orders on him shit, because Judge Engeron feels threatened. Like, dude, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, if you look at the emails or messages like on social media or whatever that this guy has received, that he's used as the excuse to gag Trump, literally have nothing to do with Trump. It's some fucking Riri's out here saying asinine shit like, I hope you die, you fucking biased piece of shit. And even if that's your thought process, in a cohesive, functioning fucking society, you're not sending that personally, privately to an active judge. That's just fucking dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, say it on the inner zones or something, but don't fucking send it to the judge. Like, you're just trying to fuck yourself. You're trying to make yourself the right-wing extremes example that they so desperately search for on a fucking minute-to-minute basis, man. And as far as the destruction of education, to continue on that note there, you see with the recent, testimony of the presidents of some of the most, well-respected, higher learning fucking edifices in the country, just sit there as diversity hires and just, complete fucking clowns and, incriminate themselves. And, of course, like the white one, like, what was it, McGill, I believe her last name was, from Penn State, she stepped down, right? But the president from Harvard, old professor's gay, right? That anyone would be fucking embarrassed to even say this is the president of my fucking, alum, right? She's not going nowhere because DEI, dude. You know what I'm saying? There's absolutely no other reason. She's found to be a complete plagiarist. And these people don't care because she can bump out good little consuming fucking communist Riris that hate themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these people want. Like, again, they are destroying America and the West. And it's not by accident. These people literally sit around, call themselves think tanks and whatnot, sit around to come up with ideas to subvert fucking society, man, to destroy centuries of building and centuries of jurisprudence because feelings. You guys tell me what you think. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. Smell you later.
Argue it's unlike any other large country in the world. So there's a second thing in that black box. An unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America, from then and on, will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength. And so we have been